So you are entertaining, living in, or moving to Falcon, Colorado, just outside of Colorado Springs, where you are in the right place because we're going to share some perspective and proximity on that today. We're going to do a map tour looking at the entire area, where it is in relation to Colorado Springs, which is where I live. I love being in Falcon, Colorado. I like being out of town for a number of reasons, so be sure and watch all the way to the end of the video because I'll share some of those as well. As far as my perspective, why I love living there, why our family loves living there, and everybody's thriving there, and there's lots of advantages to being just outside of the Springs. So we'll get kind of the 40,000 foot view today, kind of an overview of where Falcon is, what it offers, and why you might like to live there as well, so you can make the right decision for yourself. So if you're ready, let's go, because you don't know what you don't know. I connect with people just like you every day to help them discover where to live and invest in real estate and sell properties for top dollar when the time is just right. My name is Leif Jacobson. I'm an ex-cop turned realtor, also known as Safe Leif. If you're new to this channel, subscribe so you're first to learn about Colorado real estate. I'm super excited to hear from you, and my contact information is below. So reach out by text, call, or email after this video, and I would love to hear from you. Or you can just book a calendar event or calendar item, an appointment with me, and I'll reach out to you, whatever works best. So we are digging into Falcon, Colorado, which is just outside of Colorado Springs. So I wanted to start wide open here. Let me get my drawing tool ready so I can point out a few things. So Falcon is right down here and just outside of Colorado Springs. Proximity from Denver, Colorado Springs is just under an hour, depending on where you're coming from in Denver, just under an hour to travel from Denver into Colorado Springs. And if you're popping out to Falcon, Colorado, which is where I live, you're looking at another, 15 minutes or so, coming out of the Springs. So you can cut down this way and come to Falcon, or you can come from Denver and cut down this way and just come straight out to Falcon. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here and take you a little closer to Falcon so we can talk about some nuances here. So a couple ways to access Falcon is either out Woodman Road. So come in, this is downtown Colorado Springs, is downtown here. And so a couple ways, if you're downtown, if you're on the north side of town, it's easy just to shoot out Woodman Road. You're coming right out here to Falcon. If you're downtown Colorado Springs, you can either just come north on 25 and then shoot out Woodman, or you can come right through downtown and out Platte Avenue, which takes you on Highway 24, which pops you right up to Colorado Springs this way. So this is a fabulous highway that goes all the way out to Peyton, further out to Calhoun and Lemon, all the way out east. If you just take this further out, you're headed right out to Kansas is where you're going, just to give you some perspective there. So Highway 24 is a key connector and the best connector from Falcon to downtown. And if you're on the north side of town, you're coming out Woodman Road. So let's see. Here is Highway 24 coming out the other side of Colorado Springs that heads out toward the Rockies and heads out to Pikes Peak, which is just out here. You can just barely see it. So we'll zoom further into Falcon here and talk about a few other nuances. I'll kill my drawing tool in order to zoom or go in and out. And actually, there's a couple ways to get to and from Falcon if you are heading up north versus going to downtown Colorado Springs. So we talked about coming down 24. If you're heading up to Denver, there's kind of a shortcut you can take that comes up this way. Drawing tool out here again. So if you come north out of Falcon, right at the intersection of Meridian, this is Meridian Boulevard, or Meridian Road and Highway 24, you can come directly north up to Hodgen Road, which is right here, and then you're coming straight over here and over to 25. That's the best way to get up to Denver, is cutting over that way if you're coming right from Falcon. Otherwise, you're going a little further south, depending on where you're at in Falcon, a little further south and coming a little south as you're heading down to 25 this way. So that's a little perspective on how to get in and out, depending on where you're coming from or going to. So as we zoom into Falcon a little bit, I'll give you a little perspective here. So Falcon has kind of a couple different districts. This is mostly farmland and open space. There's a few, we'll go kind of northwest, northeast, southeast, and then southwest side of Falcon here as we talk about it. So there's a few houses being built in here, but it's lots of farmland or just newly being converted into houses and platted neighborhoods. So I just changed to satellite map view so you can see just a little better. think this will be helpful so you can kind of see what's what here. So as you're looking here, the first places to develop were the central parts of Falcon. So this is, central Falcon right in here where all the commerce and businesses and resources are in general. Those were the first to develop and move outward from there. So one thing to point out as well is that Falcon versus Peyton. So this is another little perspective here. So Falcon is where we came up. I just pulled up this map so you can see where Peyton is as well. So Peyton is this area, Falcon is this area. Technically, they're all one zip code. So this is all one zip code running through here. But because they didn't basically expect the growth that they were expecting in Falcon. So Falcon blew up, there's thousands of homes here. Peyton is much more rural, a lot more farmland, and some other wilderness areas out there. So Peyton basically is dirt roads. There's a post office. The main post office is in Peyton. It's way out here, which is about 20 minutes, 23 minutes outside of Falcon. So you're looking at about a 20-minute drive out this way. And there's a post office out there, but it is dirt roads, chickens running around. It's a totally different world than Falcon. So Falcon is much more developed with paved roads and a lot more commerce and a lot more resources, and it's a lot closer to Colorado Springs. So this feels very different. Lots of livestock and pastures and farmland versus Falcon is large neighborhoods and subplatted neighborhoods. So in Falcon, there's a couple different regions here, and this is what I was just talking about as far as development. So you have, Paintbrush Hills. There's a number of neighborhoods we'll talk about here. Paintbrush Hills and a number of newer platted neighborhoods that come down this way. Some other neighborhoods, this is Woodman Road that takes you out to Falcon, and there's a bunch of neighborhoods down here as well. And the main nucleus of Falcon is right in here, right at the intersection of Meridian Road and 24 is where Falcon comes down. So there's Safeway, there's Walmart. Right in here is a new development that's about 10 years in the making. I'll show you a little screenshot of it. Is King Soopers, which is a grocery store that's going in. There's a brand new restaurants that have just come in here. A number of restaurants just right along here are Panda Express and Slim Chickens, and a few different restaurants that are just going in. There's a number of other resources down on the other side of Woodman Road. So if you come just across Woodman Road and turn down here, there's a couple little strip malls. Right down in here is a brand new Les Schwab that just popped up, as well as a couple additional dental offices, and there's Little Caesars Pizza, there's chiropractors offices, and there's a big old tire center that just went in here as well. So Falcon there's thousands of homes going in. There's another 4,000 homes planned going in as well, and it's stretching way up north a little bit here toward Antler Creek Golf Course. So this is Meridian Ranch up this way. It's right in here. Meridian Ranch is here and also goes a little further north. So Meridian Ranch also spreads up this way. And Woodman Hills is another neighborhood that's earlier neighborhood than Meridian Ranch. It's a little further down this way. So that's a couple different neighborhoods there that have gone in. And what else to point out here? Commerce and shopping and restaurants, that's just added just very recently, because there didn't used to be a single coffee shop. But recently, Badass Coffee just opened, which is in the shops up by Meridian Ranch right in here. So there's a number of shops, and I'll show those to you. I've got a couple drone shots and a couple other shots of the Meridian Ranch shop. So Badass Coffee is in there. It's a first place where you can actually sit down at a coffee shop and chat with your neighbors or another connection in Falcon. Other than that, there was Safeway technically had a Starbucks, so that was the only place that you could theoretically sit down and grab a cup of coffee with somebody, as basic as that sounds. So all that is to say, this is what Falcon is and where it is, and it is developing more and more all the time. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. So there's an airport out in Falcon that's called Meadow Lake Airport, and here it is. Here's the runway coming out of Meadow Lake Airport. It's just over 700 acres, so it's a good resource, and it is it's just a small local airport, lots of little Cessnas and smaller planes, and the whole thrust of that airport is they do some weather tracking and weather disclosure there. They also do flight instruction, so lots and lots of pilots learn how to fly out of Meadow Lake Airport. So that's what that is and where it is. And then I wanted to cover some of the growth that's coming out of Falcon, kind of on the north side of Falcon. Again, this is an unincorporated area of El Paso County, so it's not incorporated city, and it's not technically a town. It's right just kind of in that in-between phase, because it's been a surprising growth area for Colorado Springs. And the word is, I don't quote me on this, and I can't confirm this, but the word is that Colorado Springs City is looking at annexing Falcon, Colorado. So it may become a part of the city at some point, but that is as yet unconfirmed. But I see some infrastructure coming out Woodman Road that could indicate that they're going to do that, and that's what I've heard. So Falcon is growing to the northeast in a kind of a northeasterly direction. So Meridian Ranch is a neighborhood. Actually, I spoke incorrectly earlier when I said Woodman Hills is this whole area down here. That's the neighborhood. Meridian Ranch starts up this way and goes way out this way. So Meridian Ranch is about 3,500 homes in Meridian Ranch right now. That's what you're seeing in here. And there's room for 4,000 additional houses. When you look at Meridian Ranch, there's a large golf course in here called the Antler Creek Golf Course, which has been open, I think, since 2004. And it's actually the second longest golf course in the United States. And it's the longest golf course in Colorado. Just some interesting facts there. So Meridian Ranch is growing to the northeast, and we'll zoom in a little bit here and take you out to Falcon Regional Park. So Falcon Regional Park is out here. These are new homes going in here, and they're all going to grow going in further in the northeasterly direction here. So that's all part of Meridian Ranch. Schools. So schools are good to know where they are. So Falcon's few public schools. So Falcon High School is right here. Falcon Middle School is over this way, and then there's a couple elementary schools. There's one just south of, or just north of Falcon Middle School. There's another couple down in here, and there's a charter school that's called Liberty Tree Academy that's right in this area. So generally all the schools, there's a Goal High School, has a number of locations throughout Colorado. It's kind of an alternative high school program, so that's right down here. But in general, all the schools are on the north side of Falcon, right up in this area here. So there's a number of parks throughout the neighborhoods and all throughout Falcon that are publicly accessible. There's a number of rec centers out here. The Meridian Ranch Recreation Center is outstanding. It's a phenomenal recreation center. I will live out at Meridian Ranch here. But interestingly, so you have to live in Meridian Ranch in order to utilize the rec center here. But Woodman Hills actually has a couple different rec centers. They have one that is on the east side of Meridian Road and one on the west side of Meridian Road. And you can actually utilize, a lot of people don't know this, you can actually utilize their rec centers. Anybody could come in. You do not have to live in Woodman Hills in order to utilize the rec centers. So that's super helpful. You can just come in and pay a day fee, and there's, one has an indoor pool, the other has an outdoor pool. So that's a resource for you there. One advantage to living out in the Falcon area is that real estate is considerably less money. So you're right into 8 to 12% less for the same house out in Falcon as in Colorado Springs. So you get more value for your money being just a little bit outside of town. There's an interesting perception that Falcon is, way out in the middle of nowhere, but it's actually just not that far. So when you're coming from, the main hub right here in this area, which is where there's a hospital right here, and a lot of people on the north side of town say, "Oh, you're way out in Falcon," right? You're literally talking a 7 to 8 minute drive from Powers and Woodman out into Falcon, Colorado. So, it's a number of minutes just outside of town. It's a little more windy, it's a little more plains, it's a little more flat. You decrease in elevation going down in toward town and when you come toward Pikes Peak. So, it's about 800 feet higher being out in Falcon. I can't do topo on here, so I can't show you very well. But you're about 800 feet higher than downtown Colorado Springs being up in Falcon. But the views are fantastic. The traffic is less being out of town, and it's just a fabulous place to live because you get a lot more house for the money. So, but there's lots of resources, Costco and the Powers corridor here is every restaurant basically and shop, from Super Target to lots of other commerce and shopping centers here, every restaurant you could fathom. So, you're about 20 minutes in here to get to all the resources that you need. So Falcon is a great place to live. I love living there myself, and I would love to hear from you as far as what you think and any comments you have. Please comment on this video. and let me know what you think and what other resources I can provide to you. I'm excited about the prospect of hearing from you. Again, my contact information is below. Shoot me a text, call, or email after this video, or book a calendar appointment with me, and I'll reach out to you. Whatever works best. Super excited to hear from you. Thanks for taking time with me today. Let me know how else I can serve you.